Welcome back, listeners. Today I have a chilling tale for you that's sure to send shivers down your spine. It's a story steeped in history, mystery, and the supernatural, originating in the early 1800s, specifically between 1817 and 1821. This haunting took place in the quiet hills of Tennessee and has been recounted through generations. So sit back, turn off the lights, and prepare for a captivating journey into the haunting of the Bell Witch. A tale that will make you question what you think you know about the unseen world. I'll never forget the first time I heard about the Bell Witch. As a child, I was captivated by local legends, but this one was different. Nestled in the rolling hills of Tennessee, the Bell family, who lived in the early 1800s, were said to be tormented by a malevolent spirit. It wasn't just ghost stories, it was a terrifying reality for those involved. I grew up listening to tales of strange sounds, ghostly whispers, and the unsettling presence that haunted the Bell household. As I dug deeper, I found that the Bell Witch wasn't just a ghost. It was an entity that could communicate, taunting and tormenting the family. They reported hearing disembodied voices, laughter, and even the sound of someone pulling their bedsheets at night. Imagine waking in the dark, feeling a cold presence in your room, then hearing a sinister whisper close by. The thought alone made my skin crawl, igniting a deep curiosity within me about the haunting that had consumed this family's life. The Bell family consisted of John and Lucy Bell, along with their children. At first, they were skeptical of what was happening, but their doubts soon vanished as the hauntings escalated. It began with strange knocking sounds on the walls. Soon, however, the entity grew bolder. It started scratching the family members and tugging at their clothes. The once peaceful Bell farm transformed into a house of horrors, filled with unexplainable occurrences that left the family frightened, confused, and desperate for answers. As the days passed, the entity began to target their youngest daughter, Betsy. Her torment was beyond imagination. The spirit would yank her hair, slap her face, and violently throw her out of bed. It was as if the Bell Witch had developed an obsession with her. Betsy's once lively and energetic spirit began to wither under the constant attacks. She couldn't escape this nightmare, and her family, despite their efforts, seemed powerless to stop it. The Bell farm had become a prison of fear. Word about the Bell Witch spread quickly throughout the region, attracting curious onlookers. Soon, locals began flocking to the Bell farm, eager to see the supernatural for themselves. Some doubted the family's claims, assuming they sought attention, but others were drawn in by real fear. No one could deny that something was wrong at the Bell home. Even the most skeptical visitors left with a strange feeling, as if the air itself was thick with dread and the walls whispered of terror. The more people who came to witness, the more violent the hauntings became. The entity's power seemed to be growing stronger. It began throwing objects across the room, creating loud, disturbing noises that echoed through the house. The once quiet nights were now filled with screams and eerie sounds. It was as if the Bell Witch thrived on fear, feeding off the growing panic. The Bell family, already on edge, now found themselves trapped in a home where the very air pulsed with terror. Desperate for help, the Bell family sought the aid of spiritualists and local preachers. Even Andrew Jackson, who would later become the U.S. president, visited the farm, curious to confront the Bell Witch himself. Jackson and his team witnessed strange, unexplainable occurrences that left them speechless. After his visit, Jackson reportedly said, "I'd rather face the British again than deal with the Bell Witch." It was now clear to all, this was no ordinary haunting. The witch's power was undeniable. Over time, the Bell Witch's actions became more sinister, her intentions darker. She declared her desire to harm John Bell, the family patriarch. The witch's threats were explicit. She made it clear she would be responsible for his death. Fear settled over the family like a thick fog. They had been suffering for years, but now it felt like a death sentence had been handed down. John Bell knew there was little he could do. The witch's words were sharp, and the family braced for the worst. One fateful evening, John Bell fell gravely ill. He experienced intense pain, unlike anything he had felt before. Despite the doctor's best efforts, he worsened rapidly. The family was in despair, watching helplessly as their father, their protector, slipped away. As John lay dying, it said the Bell Witch revealed herself once more, taunting the family. She claimed responsibility for his suffering, and as his strength faded, it became clear to them all, her threat had come true. John Bell's death sent shockwaves through the community. His passing was mysterious, and many believed that the Bell Witch had directly caused it. The once local ghost story now became a terrifying legend. The entity that had plagued the Bell family had succeeded in taking its revenge. The family was shattered, broken not only by the loss of John, but by the dark force that had haunted them for so long. They had lived in fear for years, and now they wondered if they'd ever find peace again. After John Bell's death, the hauntings slowed but didn't stop entirely. Betsy, still haunted by the witch's presence, continued to experience strange occurrences. The witch's influence hung over the Bell family, even in the absence of her most violent actions. The farm was never the same, and the family lived in the shadow of the haunting for years. Visitors continued to come, curious about the dark history of the place, but the Bell family could never truly move on from the horrors they'd endured. Despite the passing years, the Bell Witch legend lived on. It became one of the most infamous ghost stories in American history. The tale was passed down through generations, with each retelling growing darker and more mysterious. Books were written and films were made, all trying to capture the terror that had gripped the Bell family for so many years. The spirit of the Bell Witch seemed to linger, not only at the farm, but in the minds of those who heard the story. To this day, visitors flock to the Bell Witch site, hoping to catch a glimpse of the infamous spirit. The cave near the old farm is a particular point of interest, with many claiming it's the epicenter of the hauntings. Tourists and paranormal investigators alike seek answers, wondering if the witch still lingers in the hills of Tennessee. Some leave with eerie experiences, while others leave with questions, but no one walks away unaffected by the heavy history that hangs over the land. The Bell Witch story has endured because it taps into something primal, our fear of the unknown. It reminds us that no matter how safe we feel, there are forces out there that we can't explain. And perhaps that's what makes the Bell Witch story so chilling. It forces us to confront the fact that some things are beyond our understanding, lurking just beyond the edges of reality, daring us to imagine what's truly out there. Some legends never die. They live on in the shadows, waiting. I often think back to my childhood fascination with this story. It was the first time I realized how thin the line between legend and reality can be. The Bell Witch wasn't just a figment of imagination. She was real to the Bell family, a force that tormented them for years. As much as I had been intrigued by ghost stories, this one was different. It was a haunting reminder that some stories are rooted in truth, and those truths can be far more terrifying than anything we could ever make up. Thank you for joining me on this captivating journey into the world of the Bell Witch. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more spine-chilling tales. Until next time, stay curious and keep your lights on.